Today we're going to be taking a 3D print and turning it into something that looks like a glossy injection molded part. So starting with stage 1, you can see all the individual layers on my print. I printed at 0.3 millimeters per layer, which is fairly low quality. And so I'm going to be using a sanding block to keep a nice flat edge and some water to stop the dust going into the air, and that's going to give me a better finish. Looking at the state of the table, a towel's probably a good idea as well. You can actually tell just from the sound when you've got through all of the layers, because this is a side I haven't hit yet. And you can literally hear each individual layer as you go over it with the sanding block. And here's a side I have hit. Sounds smooth. You can hear the... So there you go, that's the kind of sound you're looking for. And you can see as well that it's all nice and smooth. Once you finish sanding your print, give it a nice clean off, and then we're going to dry it ready for paint. If you are going to be using acrylic paint and filler, I suggest you do it outside, and in fact my girlfriend specifically said do not do it inside, but she's not here right now and I'm in England, so this is what the outside looks like, and it's raining, so we're going to have to make our own spray booth and try for the inside. So I'm going to make a spray booth, literally just a cardboard box. The only one I have is the one that has all my girlfriend's shoes, so unfortunately we're going to have to move those as well. I'm sure she won't mind. And there we have it, one spray booth ready to go. I'm just going to use a dowel, you can use whatever, kebab stick, and I'm just going to attach that to our print so we can move it around whilst we're spraying. Stick that on like that. So this is the primer I'll be using. It's Geno Light plastic primer, just one I got on Amazon. I'll link everything I've used down in the description, but any plastic primer should do. You don't want to spray too much at once. You want to start spraying, move down a line, then stop. And if you do too much, then you're going to have to re-sand it off. So just take it easy. Maybe open a window. That's the first layer of primer done. You typically do 2 to 3 coats, and that builds up a nice thick layer that you can then sand away. So any of the blemishes, any of the lines you didn't get rid of when sanding initially will be nice and smooth. Okay, getting ready to do the final coat of primer, and I've made a slight improvement to the spray booth. I've put a hole just in the back of the box and connected Henry the Hoover over there, and he's going to suck away any of the solvent and stop any sort of splashback from the spray paint. So still recommend doing it outside, but if you are in the middle somewhere where it's always raining, then this could be a way to do it. Alright, here we are the next day or the next week, depending on how slow your video schedule is. But our print is completely dry. It does say you can do it within 4 hours, sand it, but I personally like to leave it overnight, especially if you've done a lot of layers. So I've got my sanding block again, and I'm using 400 grit, and we're going to use water again to make sure it comes out nice and smooth. Again, still haven't learned my lesson. I'm going to get a towel. On some of these more intricate details, I'm going to not use the sanding block, just use the paper, and then that means I can get all around the tight edges. Now that we've sanded our filler and dried off the part, I'm going to be spraying the part with glossy acrylic paint. So I'm going to build it up in about 2 thin layers and then 1 thicker layer at the end, and that's what gives us a nice glossy finish. So I'm going to go back to the spray booth and kick off the first layer. So just the demo here, actually, you can see I've done a bit too much paint across here and it's gone streaky. You want to avoid that, that's why you build up in small layers. If you did get a little overexcited on your first layer, then you can sand it away. It is just extra work, so that's what I've got to do because I did too much. Once that's dried, that's all there is to making your part look like it was injection molded. So if you enjoyed that, please consider subscribing. And until next time, keep designing, keep making, and keep on creating.